My fellow Americans, let us gather around this moment in time, this inflection point where sports and governance, tradition and transformation, commerce and competition meet at the highest level of our national conversation. Let us speak not just of basketballs and football fields, but of the very identity of college sports and the student athletes who give them life. For on Thursday, July 24, President Donald J. Trump made a move, bold, controversial, and historic, by signing an executive order aimed at creating a national standard for name, image, and likeness, the now ubiquitous acronym, NIL. This wasn't just policy. This was intervention. This was a declaration that the federal government would no longer remain on the sidelines while the NCAA wrestled with chaos, contradiction, and confusion. The Wild West era of college athletics had raged long enough. It was time, Trump declared, to bring order to the game. The executive order, as outlined by the White House, is broad in scope but laser-focused in message: save college athletics. Save the system that millions of students, alumni, and communities cherish. But save it without silencing the rising tide of athlete empowerment. This is not just about money. This is about identity, about fairness, about balancing the sanctity of amateurism with the realities of a billion-dollar industry where student athletes have long been denied a piece of the very revenue they generate. Since NIL rules went into effect in 2021, we've witnessed a revolution. Athletes posting brand deals on social media, local car dealerships sponsoring quarterbacks, national brands signing high school prospects before they even play a college game. What began as liberation for student athletes quickly turned into unregulated chaos, with states passing conflicting laws and the NCAA struggling to keep pace. President Trump's order steps into that vacuum with federal authority. It attempts to level the field, not just between states, but between sports, between genders, and between athletes whose names fill headlines and those who toil in silent excellence. A fact sheet released by the White House makes the message plain. This order is not just about regulating. It's about preserving opportunity. It's about ensuring that women's sports and non-revenue sports, track, wrestling, swimming, softball, do not get lost in the money race that NIL has unleashed. Trump's executive order aims to protect the backbone of college athletics, even as it acknowledges the headlining stars who now earn real compensation. For while NIL deals flood football and men's basketball, there's a fear growing louder: will other sports be left behind? This executive action says no. It asserts that the future must be fair, not just profitable. That regulation must not just protect the powerful, but uplift the overlooked. And that scholarship opportunities must expand, not shrink, in this new age. Let us not forget the context. This order comes just weeks after the implementation of the House vs. NCAA settlement, a landmark case that went into effect on July 1. That settlement shattered decades of legal resistance by allowing universities to directly share revenue with their athletes. That change alone would have reshaped the athletic landscape. But Trump's action signals something greater: a federal response, a national compass. It says we will no longer leave this up to 50 separate state legislatures. We will not force athletes and universities to navigate a legal maze. We will not let chaos rule a realm that touches every corner of America, from small-town programs to powerhouse campuses. It is a powerful moment, one filled with consequences. Some will celebrate Trump's move as long overdue, a defense of collegiate tradition and an affirmation of fairness. Others will decry it as government overreach or political opportunism. But whatever your view, one truth remains: this executive order changes the game. Because it puts NIL under a singular spotlight. It moves the debate from athletic departments and boardrooms to the Oval Office. And it puts the weight of presidential authority behind a national standard that the NCAA, for years, failed to deliver. But make no mistake, this is only the beginning. The executive order is a call to Congress, a challenge to the states, and a signal to the NCAA: the time for piecemeal solutions is over. The time for a national, coherent NIL framework is now. It is also a promise to the unsung heroes of college sports, the cross-country runners, the gymnasts, the volleyball players. That they, too, will be part of this future. That their opportunities will not be collateral damage in the name of market freedom. Trump's order calls for support, not just for fairness in NIL, but for the expansion of scholarships, the continuation of Olympic sports, and the preservation of what makes college athletics not just a spectacle, but a sanctuary for dreams. This executive action is layered. It doesn't erase the complexities, but it attempts to channel them. It doesn't silence state lawmakers, but it provides a common foundation. It doesn't guarantee equity, but it demands attention. And for the athletes, those who wear the colors of their schools with pride, those who rise before dawn to train, those who study between practices, who sacrifice nights out and holidays for competition, it is an acknowledgement that their worth is not invisible. This moment must not be seen in isolation. It is part of a rising wave in American sports culture, from NIL rights to athlete mental health, from gender equity to conference realignment. Every pillar is shaking. And yet, there is hope that from this unrest, a stronger, fairer system can emerge. To the critics who will say this is political theater, remember this: for many athletes, NIL is not politics, it's groceries. It's travel money for their families. It's dignity. To the skeptics who say college sports will lose their soul, remember this: athletes are not demanding to be professionals. They're asking not to be exploited. And to the defenders of tradition, let us say this: tradition must evolve if it is to endure. So, whether you support Trump or oppose him, whether you love the NCAA or question its legacy, whether you watch March Madness or follow college volleyball, this executive order affects you. Because it shapes the stage on which young people chase greatness. It writes the next chapter in the story of American sports. The debate will continue. Lawsuits will still fly. State houses will still posture. But now, the White House has entered the arena. And that changes everything. The message is clear. From the East Wing to the locker room, the time for structure is now. The time for fairness is here. The time to respect the athlete, not just the institution, is long overdue. And with the stroke of a pen on July 24, President Trump did not end the debate. He reignited it.